Welcome to Fun and Games Side Quests. Every episode is a different host sharing a video game they love and why they love it.
Hi, my name's Dave Proctor. I'm the director at Mighty L Studios. I, love making strange independent games. We work out of Toronto. I love strange games in general. And I also love heavy metal. So I am going to take as little of your time as possible and extol the virtues of 2009's Brütal Legend. Brütal Legend is a game made by Double Fine. It is the follow-up to their massive breakout Psychonauts. And it is a game that honestly not a lot of people either played or liked or whatever. If you played Psychonauts, you know that Double Fine likes comedy and appreciates a little bit out there art direction. But Brütal Legend asks the question, what if we can push that out there art direction to also strange game design choices? And what if we made it metal? Here's the premise. You are a roadie, Eddie Riggs, voiced by Jack Black. And at the beginning of the game, you are sort of guitar teching for this crappy nu metal band that doesn't seem to like you and is texting on their sidekicks. And then an accident happens and the stage, decorations that you built fall on Eddie and blood gets into the mouth of his belt buckle. And that blood sacrifice transports him to the world of heavy metal. And, what starts out as this little combat tutorial, you have an axe called the Separator, and you have to hack at these cultists that are suddenly around you. And then you have your guitar, which suddenly magically is able to cast spells in this world. What starts out as this little like very standard third person action game, then quickly becomes, a driving game as you build a hot rod out of old parts. And then you are driving through this, collapsing ancient temple in this strange world with Ophelia, who you have met and is, also trying to bring down these cultists. And you are learning just a little bit about this little world. And then you break out of it and you are in this massive, open, cartoony, strange world of heavy metal. There are huge hands gripping guitars coming out of the ground. There are lizard statues that are bound up with ball gags. There are all these different odes to different sub-genres of metal. And it's amazing. It's such a strange thing to see this, as underground as heavy metal can be in 2023. It's strange to see this underground thing become the main topic of conversation for an entire game's environment design. Eddie goes on to join, the local resistance who are trying to bring down General Lion White, who is this hair metal, he flies with the use of his frilled bangs. He is this guy that has gripped, the world in commercialism, as hair metal did to heavy metal in the 80s. And you start kind of recruiting people, and again, it's open world, actiony, hack and slashy. But on your first mission, you actually recruit these young men called the Headbangers, and they're, you can Google a picture of them. They are stout. They have enormous necks. They bang their heads every day. And then the game becomes a little bit more strategic. You have units of people surrounding you, and you can command them to attack different things. After that mission, you find ranged units, the Razor Girls, and again, you can sort of use them to attack different, elements on the battlefield. And then you get a healing unit, and then you get, a faster melee unit, and so on and so on and so on in a progression until you unlock what they call stage battles. And the stage battles are RTS battles in the middle of this third person open world hack and slashy action game. And when this happens, Eddie sprouts bat wings and flies above the battle, and you can actually command troops of unit, like you were playing an RTS. But in the middle of that, you can dive down into the combat and throw your axe around and cast some magical guitar spells. You can summon your hot rod and plow through waves of enemies and then jump out of it and fly into the air and command groups of units to go and attack. And it's like nothing else. There is no other game that feels like this. And I think that's part of the reason why people didn't click with it. It's strange. I mean, it might be the metal, and this game loves heavy metal. You know, it starts off with very like new wave of British heavy metal. You are in the, you know, leather and denim era of rock and roll, and then you kind of move into this doom, gloom, black metal kind of, you know, frost covered trees and craggy rocks and gravestones, and then you get to this new metal stage of the game where everybody's wearing leather and there are, you know, it's Rob Zombie and I was going to say Tainted Coil, like that's a band, but the Tainted Coil is the name of the new metal faction of people. If you play this game online, and the developers of the game do it every year on October 13th, the day the game came out, you can play as one of these three factions, and each of these units in battle has different abilities, and they're balanced like as well as StarCraft is. The game also really wants you to appreciate the heavy metal. There is an entire metal encyclopedia in it that teaches you these subgenres, and you can use it as a radio and play through different songs. It'll be like, this is blackened heavy thrash, which, I mean, as a metalhead is a bit prescriptive, but anyways, it's amazing. It feels like nothing else, and it's not perfect. That is why it is cool. It's an open world game that doesn't have a million tell you what to do map markers. It has a few, but they're much more suggestive. But it is trying to get you to play in a weird way, and that's what makes it so amazing. It says, no, we want you to play this third person action game, but we also want you to play this RTS. We want you to combine the two. The game says, we don't care if you haven't done it before. I love it. I love it because of that. I love it because of the dirt. You know, it's not too polished. It's not too perfect. That's what makes it worth playing. That's what makes, I mean, all games worth playing to me. Brütal Legend was one of the first games where I was like, oh, I didn't think I needed this, but I feel seen by it. And maybe it won't work for you, but I really think you should try it. Pick it up on a sale or just go buy it right now. It might even be on Game Pass, who knows. It's really cool to see things that you didn't know could be combined. Try to combine, whether or not it's a success. I think that's the amazing part. Thanks a lot for hanging out and listening to me talk about probably my favorite game of all time. At least one of the top three. Go out there, rock out, and happy gaming.
Hey, Nerf herders.
You sure you want to go with that?
Hey, everyone?
There we go. More inviting.
Have you ever had a movie that you really wanted to love, but something holds you back?
Or one that you did love in spite of a flaw?
Well, I'm Case Aiken.
And I'm Sam Alisea.
And on Another Pass, we sit down with cool guests to look at movies that we find fascinating.
But flawed.
And we try to imagine what could have been done when they were made to give them that little push.
We're not experts. We just believe in criticism.
Constructive criticism.
Sure.
So come take another pass at some movies with us.
And every now and then, we can celebrate movies that did it on their own, too.
You can find us at certainpov.com or wherever you get your podcasts.
Pass it on.
CPOV.
certainpov.com.